You ever have a day at work when you smiled through your teeth trying to keep everything together and then you sat in your car in the parking lot for 10 minutes before you could drive home? If you have, this episode's for you. Today we're talking about the professional no, what it costs to stay composed when you're the one in charge. How hard is that? We're also going to talk about how to set a boundary inside a hierarchy and what it really means to lead with integrity when the job quietly tests everything that you have. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Shifted Podcast. Grab whatever's in your glass, coffee, tea, something stronger, and let's toast to the women who lead together and keep it together at work and are finally ready to talk about what that actually costs. Jen, what are you drinking today?
Diet Coke. What are you drinking?
It's a moment. It's non-alcoholic. It's like a elixir. And this one's called Barbie.
I love that.
I haven't tasted it yet. So that's what you're drinking.
Okay.
Give me one word that describes where you are right now.
At this moment, I'm going to say centered.
I like that.
I know.
Let's toast.
Good for me. Toast.
I like it. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers to showing up. If you've ever had a boundary at work and then you've gone home and thought, why do you still feel like you're being tested? Stay with us. So my guest today is someone that I know personally, and that matters because this is not just a conversation and it could have been with anybody. Jenn Kazmark has spent years in leadership and administration. She sat in rooms where she was the one responsible for holding it all together, managing people, managing decisions, and keeping her composure when composure was the last thing that she actually had. She's not here as an expert with a framework. She's here as a woman who has lived this and is willing to be honest about what it actually looked like. Jenn, welcome to the Shifted Podcast.
Well, thank you.
So I'm really glad that you said yes to this. That makes me happy.
Thank you.
Tell us in your own words about your title. Not just your entire title, but tell us about you, not just your title.
Yeah, so I am an administrator at a local school district, so I take on many roles, but I would say that my professional job is about building and fixing, which is not what I thought I was signing up for when I went to school millions of years ago. And in my current role, I'm supporting students and staff across a pretty big district. I'm also a mom and a wife and a doctoral student and a friend and all of the things. And I think that across all of those roles in my life, I'm always looking to help people solve problems, but in doing that, maybe compromise my own abilities or personal life or whatever, and wanting to give all of the things all the time in all of the ways.
When you help people, do you want them to help themselves though too?
I want them to. I don't always allow for that, which I learned about myself in the past year alone. I always thought that I was like giving people tools to fix whatever they need to fix, but I found that one of my not so great qualities, but good intended, is that I do things for people instead of like teaching them how to do it for themselves sometimes, including my children. So I'm working really hard on not doing that.
You need DISC training.
Tell me about this.
Sam and I just got trained in DISC training. And so now we're certified trainers. I'm not trying to sell something, but
no,
it's personality. It talks about your different personalities.
Oh, yes. You told me about this.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I
so
do.
You need to do a DISC assessment. I'm going to see if I can get you one.
All right.
But it talks about how you're better able to lead, knowing what your style is and how you can work with other people.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this.
And even though I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and turned it off, it still goes off. It doesn't matter.
Because this is who we are as people. That's intentions.
So there's pressure in leadership to be above frustration. Your position means you have to be able to handle everything.
Yep.
Has that expectation ever worked against you?
Oh, yeah, like every day. Like every single day. There's like this unspoken expectation that because you're a leader that you are supposed to handle everything with grace and no frustration.
Yeah.
And it's not possible, right? And I think in part of my world, people forget that you're interacting with like 900 other staff members a day and everyone's problem is their biggest problem, right? So I've got 50 people calling me a day and every person has this understanding that what they need fixed right then is the most important. And so my frustration often is with myself not being able to help all those people, and like being able to say to somebody like, I'm going to work on this, let me get more information, let me get back to you, is not my strong point. And so for me, the frustration always comes back on me. Like if I had just done this, if I had figured out how to say no to this, if I had planned this better or thought about this more deeply or took a breath, like I wouldn't be as frustrated. So what I have learned about myself is that the frustration that I experience is mostly because of the way that I react to things.
Because you are a fixer.
I'm a fixer. Like 100. I'm trying to fix in different ways. And it is so very hard.
You need to get in my cohort for this. We just had this conversation. One of ours is being able to say no.
Oh.
And I think you and I worked on this because a couple days ago, I had an issue with something you and I were dealing with.
Yes.
And I remember texting you at that moment and saying, sit down.
Yeah, because I was
because
down.
I know you're going to take care of it. And so you're multitasking, going from one to the other. But, you know, it's hard because I'm the same. I feel like
you got to get done.
Yeah, you got to get done. And I'm not saying people are incompetent.
No.
But I work I understand this now. Sam said this to me. I work at a very, very high level.
Yes.
And I'm very, very fast in what I
Yes.
do. And so what I do in 2 days might take somebody else 5 days to do.
Or 2 weeks, honestly. Like,
Right.
I've learned that more in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
While it seems like a superpower and people, like, I think appreciate that about me, it is overwhelming at best sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm just going to do this because it'll be quicker and it's easier than me explling for you to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to take care of it.
Yeah.
But it's not really helping.
It's not, but I mean,
it's hard to break.
I still struggle with that because it's so hard. I finally found someone, I will say, who is as close to me as probably is going to get. So Marianne is on our team now.
Oh, yeah.
And when I tell you she's amazing, like when I first met her, I remember thinking to myself, I want you to look at how I work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to touch anything. I want you to watch me for 4 days. I want you to see how I send emails. I want you to see how I schedule things. I want you to see how I work. Read every single thing that you have, and then we'll talk. And probably by the third day, she was like, I noticed that this came up. Can I help you with it? Okay. And then she'd be like, I noticed this came up. Can I help you with it? And then she did more. And she
you
did
let
more.
her?
And I let her. And when I let her do it, because it was like she said it was an educated thing. Like, I noticed this is how this works. I'm going to help you. Okay. Now I have a ton of respect for her. Not that I didn't have respect for anybody else.
She's earned, right?
But I was like, you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so now I can trust you. And she does more for me. I said to Sam, I go, I don't know what I would do without her now. That's awesome. Because she is the first person that thinks very similar. Like, I said something to her yesterday. And she was laughing, and I was like, are you, like, is somebody in the background with you laughing at me? Like, with me? No, she goes, I was actually thinking the same thing that you were, and I'm laughing because we are very similar, like things that she does.
But being in tune with something like that, especially at work, is so valuable. And, like, it's so rare. It's so rare. But you're a person that, like, treats people as equal no matter what their position or role is. Yeah. Like, that's something that's very, like, that's always at the front of you. I feel like you don't treat people on how you feel their role is in the order of things, right? No. And so, like, it's easy for people to feel at ease. You're disarming. That's a good word for you. You're disarming. Yeah. Like, people get comfortable quickly because they know that you're not placing them in places that they don't feel like they should be, if that makes any sense.
It works against me sometimes, though, because I see people that don't feel that way and think because they do have a certain title that they need to be treated a certain way. And that grates at my nerves more than anything in the world. No. I don't know who like, there's somebody specific, and I won't mention who they are, but I'll mention after off camera, I'll mention who they are. And this person is the most cocky person I've ever met because they think they have a role.
Right.
And you think you deserve to treat people a certain way. And the people that you're treating really, really great, they don't like you either.
Right.
Because they know you're like, they all think it's because you think you have a certain role and you treat people not well. And I don't know.
It's like collecting people like that. Like, they collect who they think they need because they don't actually have any real relationships, right? Like, they just, like, feel that they're gaining whatever from each person. It's like action figures. I know. I have people like that in my life too.
No, it drives you nuts. And you have to tolerate them.
I know, and I'm bad at that. Like, I don't
want to do it anymore.
I don't either. I think we have to.
Well, that's why I have a business.
I know.
I actually don't have to do it anymore.
I know,
like,
you don't.
But sometimes Sam's like, Amira. I was like, I know, but I know.
I know, but.
All right. Without getting into specifics, what does it feel like in your body when you're last nervous being tested at work?
So I can't tell you, like, the number of times a day that I'm just trying to catch my breath. Like, something is headed down a path that is going to be frustrating, and, like, you can feel it. Like, your heart races, your jaw clenches, and your body's telling you, like, pay attention. Like, this is important. But I don't slow down enough to do that as often as I should. Like, my best moments are when I recognize those, like, physical, like, I don't know, hints, and I'm like, okay, like, take a minute, because I'm so reactionary in my personal and professional life because I want to fix things, or I have this deep sense of, like fairness. Like, I have to get over it, because when I don't think things seem fair or presenting as fair, I am the most reactionary person, and that is always where my frustration lies. Always, always, always. So I'm really trying to, like, notice those moments and take a deep breath and, like, center myself in how important is this right now to say what you want to say and express your frustrations, or can you wait an hour or a day or a week and then be more mindful about what you're going to say, because what you're going to say isn't going to be great because you're just putting on somebody else your own internal frustrations. And that is, like, my biggest grown-up moment, I think.
Is it like 10, 10, and 10? Is it going to matter in 10 minutes? Is it going to matter in 10 days or 10 hours? Yeah. In the moment, I'm like, I don't care. I'm glad you and I were on the right side of each other. Because we're on the wrong side of each other. Like, but I'm the same. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I have a very Sam said, a very good moral compass.
Yes.
I just don't
Yes.
think it's just not right that this happens. And so I need to be the one to fix it. And he's like,
Yes.
it's not fixable. I'm like, what do you mean it's not fixable?
Everything is fixable. Come on. But it's not always. I agree. And my recently I've been experiencing a lot of like people saying things that are maybe like a version of the truth that is a little far from the truth.
Yeah.
And like my internal moral compass to fix that is really difficult for me to shut down. I've been getting more wins with waiting and thinking things through, but it is so difficult for me not to be like, that's not true. It's like rewiring myself and it's hard. But I've noticed that I'm less frustrated when I do that long term.
Okay.
Like I'm really annoyed in the moment that I'm shutting myself up. But then like 5 hours later, I think about it. If I had acted the way that I wanted to act, how I would be sitting at home. Everyone's mad at me. I did the wrong thing. I made people mad. Like I then am that. Like it's such a weird like dichotomy.
But then do we go back to the woman man thing? Because I feel like if a man were to call somebody out and say that's not true, or you're lying, or that's not whatever, they'd be like, you know what, I'm glad that you had somebody speak up and did it. But if we do it, it's like, why are you attacking them? We
live in such narrow spaces compared to men. Like we have to fit inside these spaces that like men don't have those boundaries. Like, so, I work with my husband, as you do. And 2 years ago, he learned how to say fix your face in sign language to me for meetings. And like, this is this funny story now that is like part of our lore. And at one point, somebody, I think it was my sister, was like, Chris, your face is way more resting bitchy than Jen's. And I was like, you're so right. But I've been the one that's been every time it's so true. Like his face is so like, he wears it all. And I just like make one like little eye twitch and people are jumping down my throat. The boundaries in which we have to live are so different than men. And he's not a mediocre man, but there are some real mediocre men that have real big spaces when we're shoving ourselves into small ones. And it is exhausting.
Absolutely. I get it.
And I love men. I'm not like,
no,
but the way that
it's
men are treated. And you know what kills me? The way that men are treated in academia by women. Like, and I'm not talking about, take my district out of it, like in university work and like my coursework with people. It's typically women professors, and even they allow men so much space. Like I watch these conversations happen. I'm like, this is not correct. Even like what this person's saying is not. And it's like, they get so much positive feedback. And then a woman says something that's just kind of like true and smart. And it's like, okay, moving on. It's so weird.
It's interesting because I teach at a college. Yeah. And I had gotten, there's a couple of things, and I think I've already been known as a disruptor when I get there, because I'm very much like, you need to hold people to a standard. Like, you can't bring these kids in, or young adults or adult learners, and expect that you're just going to push through. And I had a student who sent me a message, I don't know, a week ago. School started in January, and said, can I hand in my homeworks that I got zeros on? And I said,
2 months ago?
I said, you're more than welcome to hand them in for learnings, but I'm not going to regrade them.
No.
And she goes, what do you mean you're not going to regrade them? I said, and I think I actually wrote, so you mean you want me to go back 6 weeks and grade the work that you neglected to do and give you full credit? Like, I put it in.
And then what was her response to that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping seeing it on paper, she'd be like, okay, you're right. That's absurd.
That's what I was hoping. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, no, like, you guys have to have a standard. And if we're not going to hold anybody to a standard, then there's no reason for me to be.
Well, it's all about expectations, right? You set the expectation being a course. If people know, if there's clarity surrounding what your expectations are, then there should be no question, right? It's when there isn't that clarity.
Yeah.
But you're a pretty clear person. I can imagine that you had a syllabus. Like
it's all,
and people don't love being held to that, and it's weird.
And don't take my class,
right?
I'm not the one. Like I don't have time for it. Plus, I've got so many other things to do. If you think I need to go back every single time to redo it, I mean, I could get into a whole bunch of other things, but I won't, because then I'll get canceled. And I'm just getting started.
I got canceled last year.
You almost did. But you're good now. See? So you're fine
now.
So we talked about this. Do you think women in leadership carry a different burden around managing their reactions than their male counterparts?
Yes. I think that I've experienced this in all of my years in education, in many districts and many conferences. Men have the space to have a negative or aggressive reaction to something that I would like to have the same reaction to, and I know that I could never do it, or it would be, I mean, I just think about even not being tenured. Like, people are always like, in education, you get tenure. And like, I remember just like trying to, when I was very young, just first teaching, like never trying to get noticed because I didn't want that to impact my tenure. And then I'm surrounded by male counterparts that are just doing crazy things and like revered for it.
Yeah. As my girlfriend Nikki would say, wild and crazy behavior.
Wild and crazy behavior.
Wild and crazy behavior that I've seen it firsthand, and I was like, "Oh, you're still here?" Because I heard what you did years ago, and it's interesting that you're still here.
And it's shocking. And if it was a woman that did some of those things, forget it'd be done. It'd just be done for way less.
Yeah.
And that part is frustrating.
It's crazy.
But then it also creates barriers between men and women in these spaces, right? That don't necessarily need to be there.
Okay.
Because I don't know that like men go into it thinking I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But they do whatever they want a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So then it's like
my ADHD, it's funny that I wore white and you wore black.
I know. It's interesting.
That's funny.
Your skin looks way better than mine today.
Your skin looks really good today. No, I like it. I like it. So what do you know now about professionalism and self-protection that you wish someone had told you earlier?
I wish someone had told me that they were not two separate things. Like they can coexist and should coexist, because when you're not taking care of yourself or being reflective or thinking about all the things that need to happen, then you can't be available for other people. And that I think I did really poorly for a long time. Like I haven't had a balance in my life until recently, like at all. Like I would give everything to work and that was it. And like, that's just what it was. Like I was a mom second, I was a wife second, I was pouring myself into work, or the opposite. Like I don't know that like self-protection was always something, it was never something that I actually thought about until the past couple of years. Self-protection, self-preservation, and even self-reflection. But like, I just think that they have to go hand in hand. And being a professional, I used to think was that you were available to everyone at all times. And that is not what I believe anymore. But because it's inauthentic, right?
But do you think that you would not have been in the position that you're in had you not done that?
Probably not.
Yeah.
And it's scary, right? Like we have this conversation all the time. Like, you know, there are women in leadership are in the positions they're in because of that factor.
Yeah.
But I don't know it's a healthy thing, right? I don't know that it's healthy to not have self-protection, self-preservation, but it is how we get here.
Yeah.
And that story looks so different for so many people. Without being in spaces where people recognize it, it's impossible to protect that. I said protect a lot in that sense, but you know what I mean? Like, you found a way out of your past career in order to do that.
It was the only way.
It was the only way. I, in a different space, like, have found a way to create boundaries better than I was before. Not perfect at all. But.
And I say that, I said, you know, I understand that I probably wasn't the most pleasant person to be around, but I also was a victim of my environment. So
you were in a system that didn't work.
Right. And so, and again, being the person that was like, this isn't right. Like I'm watching you do something and it's okay as long as it suits your narrative. But when I'm doing something that you don't like, or I don't like your behavior. And so now my boundary is I actually don't like you.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to talk to you.
We are so similar.
Yeah.
So
and so,
similar.
You know, I'm not going to engage in that. I'm not going to deal with that. I've watched how you are with other people. And so now I'm not going to talk to you. But now that you have the power that you do because you carry around a set of keys on your pocket and you think that you've got all this power while you're out back smoking your cigarettes, I'm not mad about it. But you know what I mean? Like now that this is the way that you behave, now you're going to try to systemically
undo everything,
things and blackball me, which is fine because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave.
Yeah, and have a better life.
And have a much better life. Yes. And now I would never have what I have now had I not left.
Isn't that crazy? Because you can't see it then. You cannot see it then. No. You're like, I'm never coming out of this. It's the worst thing ever. I
remember Sam, I'll never forget, we were sitting on the sofa and I was looking at a message from another person who was like, you know, talking about me coming back or whatever. And I said to Sam, I said, I just don't think I can do it. And he's like, do you think you can run the business? Run the business. And I was like, awesome. Are you sure I can run the business? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not going to fail.
Well,
anybody, like, I'm not going to
fail. Anyone knows, you know, that's
I'm going to pound the pavement. So I'm like calling every single person that I know. But again.
Yes, but think about that. It worked because of, so that's a perfect like story. You were in a system that was not great. You stepped outside that system, and because of your relationships and authenticity with all the other people that you know, you created a business and you were able to because of not being in a system that didn't allow for that. Like, that's pretty big. Like, your relationships outside of your job allowed you to create a life that you wanted. That's...
Yeah. And then we had to earn. And I did say that to Sam. I said, you know, and with any sales job, like, I can get you in the door, but we have to sell ourselves. And so we can go in there and we can do, I mean, you've seen people that have come in and said, hey, you got in the door. And we've watched what you've done. We just talked about this. I mean, what you did was like, what are you doing?
Our hardest, some of our neediest members of our community have had such great responses to your trainings that I genuinely, like, I know you, and so like I'm biased and like, but I hear feedback from people that have never had anything positive to say about anything that are begging for more. So like that to me is like, you took something really horrible, created boundaries, said I'm done, and then look at like what has happened since then. Like, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you. So what does a shifted moment look like for you? Like a turning point that changed how you lead or how you protect yourself?
Okay. So like when I saw this, I had to think about it deeply. In the past year and a half, which I'm sure you can pinpoint when all this happened, I stopped internalizing things so deeply. There's like this line from Hamilton, which is so cheesy. I'm gonna say it though, like I am the one thing in life I can control, right? Like
Yeah.
I for 40 years have been a like sickeningly like I'm a people pleaser in every part of my life.
Yeah.
And like when I can't please people, I take that person. It's me. What did I do? Like people I've never met before that are mad at me about things that I don't like. I have worked very hard in the past year and a half to like not take everything so personal. Like if somebody's mad at me, it probably has nothing to do with me. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely times that I've made people upset and like not done the right thing in their opinion, or maybe out of whatever good intention and didn't pan out. Right. It has been such a relief and such a weight lifted to not take all of the things personally that I have done for 4 decades, like everything, like from my mother to who I love, to my kid, to my friends, to work, to people I've never met in the community on, social media. Like I really like that was very difficult for me to just finally like come to the realization that I have to stop taking this personally. Yeah. Because I really did for a long time. Yeah. It's hard work.
It is hard work. But
and
I think
so
about that.
Rewarding.
And I look at like from the outside, when you see things that are happening, especially to friends, you're like, it's not, I can see how it's affecting you, but just know that it's not about you. Right. Especially knowing some of the players involved in some of the things that have happened. Now looking back and you're like, oh yeah, that wasn't about me.
I know, but it's so, like we were saying, like in the moment, it's so hard to just think that it couldn't be. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, there's all these people that are saying terrible things that like I don't even know. Like it must be true because what do they all have in common? It's like, this is not about me. Yeah. Even a little bit.
I think that's a midlife thing too. I think the older we get, the more I'm not saying I don't care, but the more I don't let it affect me.
Right. Yeah. So I had this friend growing up that like she just was the epitome of like she's such a nice, awesome, cool girl. Yeah. But like she never cared. Like she was never mean, but like she didn't care if people didn't like her or didn't gravitate towards her. And like I remember thinking like I just want to be like her. Yeah. And then finally at 43 I have a little bit of that like cool girl. I don't really care what people think about me. But I care what people think about me. That's not the right thing. I know that their feelings about me aren't always about me. Right. Which was a huge shift for me.
It gets better even older. The older you get, it's just it's more. I was talking to a woman today. I put out a request for people to be on the podcast. And I've gotten like 30 women that want to be on, which is crazy. Awesome. But one of the women I spoke to said, she's like, I think she said she's 47. Yeah. And she said, the older I've gotten, the more I just don't let it affect me. Yeah. And I remember Oprah saying that like years ago.
Even the fact that I can go, like I used to stay up for hours and like replay, like what could I have done differently? And this person would be upset with me. And like, I just go to bed.
I sleep really good now.
I sleep really well now.
And this was so good.
Yes. I love
Thank you so much. Yes. So we always end every episode with a journal prompt. So where at work are you still being composed instead of actually feeling like it? And what would it look like to close that gap? Not by losing your professionalism, but by finally being honest with yourself about what it's costing you. So as always, thank you so much for being here. And we always say no neat wrap up here, just another week, another layer. I'll be here until next time. Jenn, is there anything that you want to say?
No, thank you. I love listening, so it's really awesome to be a part of it.
So I also just want to take a second and say thank you. So a little while ago, I put out a call on Threads, which is over where, Instagram is and stuff. And I put that out and I asked women who wanted to come on this podcast to respond. And I had no idea what was going to happen. And the response was overwhelming. I've talked to probably so far 15 women, and I have about 30 more that are coming or at least waiting. And every single one of them has a different story to tell. And what that told me was that women are ready to talk, especially midlife women. And that is exactly what we're doing with the Shifted podcast, which is really cool. And it's a place where we show up and we speak and we're learning from each other because there's so many different stories. I met somebody in the UK, Reset with Beth, who had brain surgery, and she had this picture of her, like half of her brain was taken out, and like she's just amazing. And gosh. I met a woman in Oregon who's going to be on it. I met an attorney in Atlanta, and I met a woman today who does healing and outside of Chicago. So that's where the Shifted podcast is becoming. So that's what Amira Evolved is turning into, and that's the Shifted podcast. And I just want everybody to know that I'm just getting started because I'm excited about it. I am not done. I'm so excited about this. So if this episode resonated with you, share it with any women in your life who leads or who wants to lead or who needs to feel seen. You can also follow me and everything I'm building at Amira Evolved. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Threads,
TikTok.
I'm on TikTok. I love my TikTok.
I love your TikTok.
And if you're ready to go deeper, I've got digital products there at my stand.store. So it's stand.store/Amira Evolved. So I'll be here until next time.
Thank you.